Hey, Bambi. Hey, Sugar Plum. You're going to be able to take turns and give me some coming. Thanks, Sugar Plum. I appreciate it. I'm sure she's got plenty of people talking to her anyway. Can't do it with my white beard. Yeah. Hey, Nancy. Got it. Nice. Congratulations, Bambi. I'll be back to work next week. Find out Friday I'll be able to log in and check my hours. If I can remember my password for that site. I'll need to email them today, and I'll need to email them actually and let them know that I did have to change my computers. So I'll probably so I'll might need some help getting a couple things set back up. Hey, Catherine. Yeah, I got a. I have no idea. I can't even check my hours until Friday. They only post for like the upcoming, like every Friday, they post the following week's shift. So it's not even like I can check 2 weeks out in advance. Like I can't check like I can't even check now. Work from home? Yes. Yeah. You land that gig? Yeah. Just applying at places. No, no, no. No, like before they put me on a before temporary layoffs from like the same job I had you know 2 months ago. But I've for the past month and a half they did like seasonal layoff. because not enough work. And before that, I was getting like 8 hours a week, maybe even 4 hours a week. Hey, Mike. I was getting fucking no goddamn hours. So I am still looking for an actual full-time job as well. Doubt it. I will be going back to the princess problem. Yes, I've already confirmed that my save file. Like I did get my hard drive back. I got my hard drive back yesterday. Transferred shit over. Going through some stored comics. We'll have the covers to read. Let's pick one to go in the case. So yeah, got my hard drive. Transferred the important shit over from it. Already confirmed that it'll. Already confirmed that Streamlabs will pick it up. Will work with it. So. I do have some bad news. My Final Fantasy Let's Play series might be ending. Might be over and done with. Because I fucking cannot get it to fucking work. With like I use OBS for like whenever whenever I record my Let's Plays, I use OBS for it. And on my old laptop, it worked just fine. I was able to, record Final Fantasy VII just fine on that one. But this one, for some fucking reason, black fucking screen on OBS. Yeah, technical difficulty. I fucking cannot get it to fucking work. I tried for 2 fucking hours last night. Fucking nothing. I did find, like, there's one more thing I can try with OBS. If it doesn't work, I'll try, like, I also tried Streamlabs. I've got Streamlabs on here. Tried using that. Same fucking thing. If it doesn't, if, like, the last suggestion that I found online for OBS doesn't work, I'll try a different program. I'll try like a 2, 3, 4 different other programs and see if they'll anything, if literally fucking anything will actually fucking work. But at this point, honestly, I'm not confident. I have a I have a feeling that is just a good laptop and an old ass fucking game. Just, you know. And like it's not helped by the fact that I'm a fucking idiot. I am an idiot. I am not good with computers. I'm just not a technical person. I am a very stupid fucking person. Um so like I'll see like I'll like even when I see like oh here's how I was like when I like I'm Google it and I'm like oh here's how I was able to fix it. It's like okay, I don't know how to fucking do that though. Just change this setting. How? I don't know how to fucking change that setting. I did try multiple things and like jack shit. Yeah, it's just so fucking frustrating. Hey, Buttercup. Yeah, I was late showering, and then I had to eat a muffin. Hey, Audrey. Yeah, fucking hate computers. Like, I just hate that shit. Just like sometimes, like, no, I don't want to work. Catherine, thank you for 10 gift memberships, Catherine. Congratulations. Vicky White, Luchador Mask, Just Lurking, Linner, Medina Jaden, Medina Jaden, MK Bichilante, Daddy's Baby, Scarlet Crush, Pixie Girl, and Yvonne Wilson. I feel like I've seen Vicky White before, and I'm pretty sure I've seen MK Bichilante before. I don't. Yeah. Um, I did not. I don't have any of Sal Buscema's comics. I only ever read them. I've read a bunch of his Marvel stuff, but only online. Get a PO box, you would. I will admit, I sometimes had trouble with Buscema's art. He was never one of my personal favorites. That said, respect the hell out of the dude. He was, an icon in the industry. He was immensely talented and, very well respected. Sal Buscema. He was a comic book artist. Also, hi, Armbrland. Uh, yeah, he was a comic book artist mostly for Marvel. Um, he worked on a lot of stuff. Most notable for his work on Incredible Hulk and also on Spider-Man. You're thinking Steve Buscemi? Do you mean Steve Buscemi? Love his Avengers too. I pause. It will be very sad when Steve Buscemi dies, obviously. Did I not say hello, Audrey? I thought I did say hello to you. Well, hello, Audrey. Comic artist trailer also write the comics or depends. Depends. One thing I would say is that artists are storytellers. Artists, like, even if they're working off a very detailed script, because there are some writers. Sure, Audrey. Of course, you can share something. Some comic book writers do write very, very detailed scripts. Alan Moore, I think, is one who exceptionally detailed scripts. But even then, if the artist has an idea for a better way to frame a panel or a set of panels or anything like that, then a lot of times the writer will be like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that." And sometimes writers will just be like, "Okay, here's what I need to happen, and here's what I need to happen on this page, or you know here's what these 3 pages, the basic idea for these 3 pages are. You decide how you want to do that." Like there will be times where it is just like where the writer will just tell the artist, "You decide how you want to do this." Yeah, they absolutely do. Hey, Uncle Buck. Yeah, I mean the artist absolutely is co-storyteller. It's what anytime you see like it's actually really irritating when you see it a lot outside of comic book media. Like, whenever you see, like, doesn't happen often, but if a newspaper or like a magazine, say some magazine is, or some website, say some website is doing an article on, great comic books. They'll mention, Watchmen by Alan Moore. And it's like, but it's not by Alan Moore. It's by Alan Moore and, shit, I'm blanking on the guy's name. I'm actually blanking on the artist's name. Dave Gibbons. It's, Watchmen. It's not, Watchmen is not by Alan Moore. It's by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. And John Higgins. Colors matter too. The colors are also important. It's always so painful when the art and writing is out of sync and you need the art and writing to bounce one another. Great land! So yeah, it's something you see a lot with people who don't really read a lot of who don't really read comics. You'll see them credit just the writer. But it also happens sometimes with like comic awards. I forget which one it was, but there's one set of comic awards that gets called out every year for not crediting artists. And like it's bullshit because the artist is absolutely a huge part of the storytelling. It's a visual medium. Do that shit with stage and film a lot too. That gets more complicated because there's a lot of people. It's just there's a lot of people who work on a movie or a TV show or even a stage production. But with comic books, with comic books, there's usually going to be like 5 people: writer, line artist, color artist, letterer, editor. Like there's basically, sometimes you'll have like separate line artist and inker. Sometimes like somebody else will do inks. Or you might have fewer people where the artist does both lines and colors. Like somebody like Stephanie Hans, for example. The makeup and wardrobe take you right out of the plot. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if some of the ink part. So what happened? You'll have like just the lines, the line art. It's just like line art is almost line art is kind of a final draft, and then it's just filling it in. So inking is basically filling it in. Hey, Rach. It's adding more details and making it look more full. Yeah, Catherine. I mean, like, there are categories for makeup and wardrobe, and I mean, like, but yeah, I mean, it's probably like the other category, like the other groups. All the people who work on a project do deserve to get credit for it. Wonder how long it takes to put out an issue. It varies, but I mean, a lot of comics are, a lot of comics come out monthly, every 30 days. That said, it'll be rare for an artist to have an extended run on a comic that comes out monthly. Usually they'll do like one arc and then somebody else will do some fill-ins and then back to the original artist and then another fill-in artist and then back to the original. Or they'll change the artist more regularly because it's hard. Like it is difficult. Art takes a comics take a long time to draw because they're very detailed these days. Like somebody like Jack Kirby used to be able to put out like 10 comics a month. He had he was ridiculous. He did have a ridiculous speed. But part of the reason he was able to do that is because there were a lot of shortcuts. It wasn't actually as detailed as modern comics are. Yeah. Jack Kirby didn't draw shoelaces. Anyway. No. No, every professional comic book artist is anti-AI. Convinced he was a mutant? Yeah. But I mean, back in the day, it used to be possible for artists to put out 1 to 2 issues a month because they just weren't as detailed. The companies. Over at DC, Jim Lee has said that they will never use AI as long as he's in charge. Which, not a surprise, he is an artist. A very well respected artist. He's a phenomenal artist. One who like every other one that everyone in the industry loves. He's one of those artists that like everybody loves. Um, so no surprise that Jim Lee is like, as long as I'm here, we're not using AI. Marvel is not currently using AI. Marvel, or I should say, Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics is not currently using AI, and I don't think they're very likely to anytime soon. Except Disney's pro AI, and Marvel Studios has used AI. Marvel Studios can go fuck itself for its use of AI. Um, the intro for that Secret Invasion show they did was made using AI, and I think they might have been caught using it for Wonder Man for something there. And like I said, Disney is embracing AI. So is Disney going to be pushing its subdivisions to start making use of it? Hey, Christina. You know, like, is Disney going to tell? Is Disney going to actually tell Marvel Comics? Hey, we spent a lot of money on the, we're spending a lot of money on this AI shit, so make sure to do something with it. Hard to say. That said, all the creatives fucking hate it. If Disney loses money, they will ditch that mindset real quick. It's honestly hard to say. AI seems to be something that's kind of breaking the brains of a lot of executives. I wouldn't be surprised if people start selling AI novels. Well, I mean, that's already a thing. Like, there's already AI novels out there. They're awful. So, like, shouldn't they heck what the hell? Yep. But I mean, they're effectively free to put out. And, if somebody doesn't realize, hey, Brooke, yeah, if a person doesn't realize they're AI, they might get tricked into buying it. And it's about the only way to sell an AI novel is hope people are just tricked into buying it. People unable to self-publish forever. Exactly. People have been selling garbage forever. There's not much enough for long. Yeah. People being able to self-publish on Amazon is why dinosaur erotica is a thing. It's also why Chuck Tingle is so big. Chuck Tingle never Chuck Tingle never would have gotten off the ground if he'd had to go through traditional publishing to start with. Pretty sure people start asking, I don't know what country. Do you mean like you talk about like 4chan, 8chan, those things, Catherine? Or do you mean something else? You mentioned all of the chans. Do you mean like 4chan and 8chan and all that? Or are you referring to something else with all of the chans? I haven't had dinner yet now. Catherine, thank you for 20 gift memberships, Catherine. Nice. And congratulations to Brucka. Nice, nice, nice. Barbiek. Nice. Crimson Knight. Just Lurkin. The Tamely. Tiff. Hollister Denim Dress. JJ. Spiteful Bitch. Great name. Wildflower. Bet Noir. Pinky Blue. Jordy is my favorite detractor. Callie Callie. Cass Blue. Michaela. Nice, nice. Tay Visible. Orange Flu. Dandy. Aw. And Loop Cat. Aw, Dandy. I miss Dandy. It's for Chancellor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure for Chancellor win. Tempted to block the person who says Jordy is their favorite. Take a minute to make the room stand still. You got Tina kicking in the door at the party and a comment on the awkwardly sexually charged vibe of the party. Can you really even call it a party? Can you really even call it a party if it doesn't have sexually charged vibes, though? Hold me closer, Pony Danza. It's like one issue I have with that. Two issues I had with it. I had two issues with it. As a brony, as a partial brownie, or as a semi brony, as a semi brony, there are two big issues I had with it. First off, the vast majority of bronies came from uh, the new series, from Friendship with Magic. Like they seem to be, there seem to be like the group Tina that Tina falls in with. And frankly, most of the characters at the convention seem to be seem to prefer like the original series with maybe a little bit of maybe a little bit of animosity, maybe a little bit of condescension towards the reboot. But like Friendship is Magic, the reboot, is the series that brought people into the fandom. Genuinely, that's like the vast majority of bronies came in, and Pegasisters, the vast majority came in with Friendship with Magic. So, like, I don't know, it feels weirdly, like I said, weirdly condescending towards the reboot, like, in a way that like is not true to real life. The other problem I have, at the people, like for the people who dress up as ponies, that is a tiny, tiny, tiny subsection. Like most of them, like very few of them are actually furries. Like the show seems to equate bronies and furries, and like no, they are two distinct groups. A lot of them will have, say, a hoodie. You know, they'll have like a Rainbow Dash hoodie. You know, a hoodie in Rainbow Dash's colors, and they pull the hood up, and it's got like, and it looks like Rainbow's hair. Like they'll have something like that. But like, they're not dressing up as in pony costumes. That's not a thing. Android MLP, I'm definitely not a furry though. Yeah. Your headphones? Yeah, like that's a common thing. The dope kicks. Yeah. So like, showing them dressing up, thoughts on furries? Eh. Most of them aren't harming anyone. and most of them are really, really not anti-fascist. It has to be said. A lot of furries, because the furry community has long had an issue with Nazis in their ranks. As weird as that sounds, there's always been a bit of an issue with the furry community having a weirdly prominent um, Nazi problem. Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. It does not matter to me whatsoever. I don't care about the Super Bowl. I don't care about Bad Bunny. You're making me question myself about the furry thing in Logan. He's a very hairy man. He's a very, very hairy man. So yeah, furry community has always had a Nazi problem, and it's something that they've always struggled with. So a lot of the furry community is actually really, really anti-fascist. How did furries come to exist? Who thought of that? Okay. So I watched a lot of 90s cartoon intros, and I'm making my way through 80s cartoon intros. I'm making my way through 80s cartoon intros right now. Watched a couple nights ago. I watched another batch of 80s cartoon intros. And there was some cartoon cat show. Some anthropomorphic cartoon cat. And at one point, there's a lady cat who starts to go behind some curtained off section, and she sort of pauses and turns back a little bit, and it's just sort of hey, check out this anthropomorphic cat lady's ass. Kids grow up on that shit. Of course, they're gonna fucking turn out to be furries. We've been, Gen X and onwards, from Gen X onwards, it's just every generation's been conditioned to be furries. Lola Bunny, right? How many kids had Lola Bunny as their sexual awakening, right? Specifically designed to be kind of sexy. She was specifically this in Space Jam, at least. Specifically designed to be kind of sexy. I will say, I've seen clips of Looney Tunes show that had Lola Bunny in it, and they toned down the sexiness and made her a complete and total fucking idiot. And she is amazing. I love her. I haven't watched that Looney Tunes series, but I've seen clips of it on YouTube. I don't like ramen now. I've seen clips of it on YouTube, and she is the dumbest character and is amazing. It seems to have that show seemed to have a really What about hockey? Who? Like that particular series seemed to have like a good balance. You know, Bugs, Daffy, Lola, and I'm blanking on the duck lady's name. There was a duck lady. I'm totally blanking on her name. But Bugs and the lady duck were both generally pretty intelligent and reasonable. Oh, Hank. Um, Dr. McCoy, Catherine. He didn't get his PhD just to be called Mister. Um, but yeah, so you got Bugs and the Lady Duck as sort of the Daisy. I don't think it was Daisy. Daisy is with Donald Duck. Daisy is Disney. Yeah. Bugs and the Lady Duck, whatever her name was, are sort of like the generally intelligent, sensible ones, and then Daffy and Lola are unhinged, unhinged buffoons. So like you get a nice balance in both ways. You get no matter what characters are being paired together, there's a good dynamic. Three little characters in the back room of the closet. Let's put them. Well, all right. Where is it? Yeah, bronies. So bronies are generally male fans of MLP, of My Little Pony. Anyway, the three characters. So this is Cove. He comes from the visual novel Our Life, Beginnings and Always. He is our boy. This is Fang. Hi, Tendies. They come from the visual novel / rhythm game Goodbye Volcano High. They're a dinosaur. They're a dinosaur. They're a dinosaur. They're a dinosaur in a band in high school. And this is Jekka. She comes from the visual novel Class of 09. Or series of, I suppose I should say series of visual novels Class of 09. She is kind of best girl. Non-binary? Yeah. Fang is non-binary. Fang is non-binary. Hence why I said they. Never seen Check up close. Yeah, it's honestly, it's not great. Like I do have to say, the Jekka doll, it's not great. Fang's cute. Fang is very cute. Fang's snout should be longer. Probably. It should be, actually. That was the only fun visual novel. It's quite a collection. Yeah, it's just for basically whenever a game that I play on stream has puts out plushies, I'll pick up the plushies. It's Jessica has her feet out. Hi, Shelly. I actually kind of forgot. I forgot about that scene, actually. Funko Pops? Not really. I do have a couple. I do have a few. I've got Ms. Marvel, Agent Carter, Spider-Gwen, a weird-ass Thanos one, Sailor Mercury, I feel like I've got one or two others. And yes, I am old and I do make old man sounds and sitting down. So to be fair, part of that is also that it's just very fun to make old man sounds. Sanrio. Helkity, Kuromi, My Melody. There's a lady I follow on social media who has been playing some Sanrio mobile game. Hey, Hannah. I'm not ordering once a week. Because I am not bringing in enough money for that to justify that. Anyway, Saturdays I do grab something from the hot food counter. So Saturdays I don't eat rice. Is that true? I'm gonna have to bend down. Yeah, and sometimes you just want to make noises. But also, I am very old. We're doing welfare. Yeah, I went off welfare when I got that job. Which I shouldn't have bothered going off welfare because I'm not getting any fucking money from the job I have. I don't get rotisserie chicken though. I've never been keen on rotisserie chicken. Keep that job on for this time. Pretty sure I could. I wasn't getting enough money. Like I'm not making enough money at the job. I'm pretty sure I could. 50 more years before old. Yeah, they say you're only as old as you feel. Are you into cosplaying your favorite character? I don't know. It's just never something that's really appealed to me. It is my birthday soon. Over on my Patreon, the video that's going to be going up on my birthday is me reacting to My Little Pony Equestria Girls. So to rotisserie chicken for a week for one person. Yeah, I just don't find it particularly. I don't know. I just find rotisserie chicken not that great. I watched MLP. So I will mention that you're 56 and your birthday is February 21st. Cool. Yeah, for Equestria Girls, that one is not actually ponies. That one is sort of like an AU thing. Well, I mean, it starts off with them in pony form. It starts off with the pony versions, and then Twilight goes to another world where the characters are human instead. Not seen the series, so it'll be a good intro to see you react. Yeah, like I said, it is a bit. It's different from the regular series. And yeah, my favorite is Fluttershy. Oh, of course I don't hate Uncle Buck. Mr. Comment about thinking I hated you. Of course I don't hate Uncle Buck. Book your internet. Nothing. I need to start. Need to start a book. Got that Japan book that I bought last month. I need to start on that. Favorite books to read? I enjoy history books. I enjoy fantasy. I enjoy comics. If you had a few bucks, you'd have a lot to read. To be fair, I kind of already have a lot to read. I have a lot of digital stuff that I actually like really do need to read. I don't actually have like, yeah. I mean, I've got these. I've got Lore Olympus, which luckily those will be a quick read when I get started on them. Especially because I have read them before. I have essentially read the series already. Worst book you've ever read? I do prefer physical media. Worst book I've ever read. I mean, That's tough. Partly, are we talking like are we including comics in that? Like worst books, are we including comics? Because I have read a few truly dreadful comics. I read NFL Super Pro. The dude who wrote NFL Super Pro didn't read NFL Super Pro. And that's not me exaggerating. Like, he didn't fucking care about it. He did not give one wet hot shit about that comic. He only wrote it to get free NFL tickets. Literally admitted that. I once messaged comic. No, so it was made in collaboration with the NFL. Well, collaboration. I mean, sort of. Yeah, it was made in collaboration with the NFL. It was produced by Marvel. It was published by Marvel. It's a Marvel comic written by Fabian Nicieza, who is a fucking great writer. Fabian Nicieza is a great writer. He didn't write the whole series. He wrote the first few issues. And yeah, it was done in collaboration with the NFL. The idea was that this former football star turned sports journalist. Yeah, so former football star turned sports journalist goes to interview this scientist who's made developed this new football armor. Yeah, this indestructible football armor. Yeah, to improve the safety of the floor of the sport. Oh, everybody will be safe. Yeah, yeah. It's just, and then criminals attack, and the hero is forced to put on this armor, and he also gets some chemicals spilled on him. Yeah, so he got he got chemicals spilled on him, so which granted him enhanced strength and speed and reflex and all that. And then he put on this football armor so that he could become a superhero. I promise you, it is even stupider than it sounds. It is worse than it sounds, and it sounds terrible. Like I said, Fabian Nicieza, the writer, flat out admitted the only reason he did the comic was to get free tickets. He did not put any effort into it. He put zero effort into it. I once messaged Fabian Nicieza on Twitter to let him know that I read all of NFL Super Pro, and he messaged back to say he didn't even read all the issues that he wrote. Like his response, like I didn't even read all the issues that I wrote. That the NFL think is going to take it. Marvel, I think, thought it was going to. NFL, I don't think, probably didn't really care. Marvel, like, I think Marvel was banking on, like, oh, this will get sports fans interested. One for me, one for my little bro. He's going to love this. It is genuinely bad. When the scientist is showing off the armor, he says that each suit, hey Shirley, that each suit needs to be custom made for each player. So naturally, the dude is able to put this the prototype on without any issues. Like it's just again, like I said, he wasn't. Nicieza wasn't even half-assing. I don't think he was even quarter-assing. He was like tenth of an assing it, you know, if that. Marvel used to do a lot of licensed comics. Actually, I think they are back to doing a fair number of licensed comics, but for better licenses now. You know, now their licenses are Star Wars and Alien. Back then, yeah, NFL. Um, there was good old U.S. Ace. Catherine, do you know about U.S. Ace? Interesting Marvel Corner I wasn't aware of, and this one looks hilarious. U.S. Ace was a comic that was launched to tie in with like trucking culture. So there's this guy who drives, big transport trucks, like 18 wheelers. Guy like drives an 18 wheeler and gets shot at by an alien, I think. An alien ship. And he has a metal plate. He has a metal plate put in his head, which allows him to pick up the alien radio waves. And he tricks out his 18 wheeler so that it is like, is he like gets like some weapons, puts like weapons in it. So he's this truck driver, 18 wheeler truck driver, who also fights aliens. As you can imagine, his series did not last very long and was not well regarded and is not well remembered. The character is he shows up every once in a while as a punchline. Not very often, but every once in a while he shows up as a bit of a joke. Uh, Catherine, you're probably aware, Catherine. You have, I imagine, as an X-Men fan, you probably know Team America. No, not the movie. Uh, the IMDb is probably your search can't be found. Well, I mean, it's a comic, so IMDb wouldn't have details on the comic anyway. But Team America, not the World Police, not the South Park dudes movie. This one's from like the early '80s. I think the very early '80s. Yeah, debuted 1982. Um, they were a stunt bike team. So yeah, like they're this stunt bike team. They were five bikers who had the mutant ability to create a sixth biker. And they fought crime. Evil Knievel? Yeah. Comedians now are terrible. That's amazing. Yeah. They had a short run, short lived. They did have a short lived series, very short lived. Um, oh, actually, 12 issues. Except even by the standards of the '80s, 12 issues actually is kind of short. So yeah, it's a 12 issue series, solo series that they had. They cameoed in a couple other places. They did cameo in a couple other places. Most notably in New Mutants. In an exceptionally weird arc, which the weirdest thing about that arc to me, it was the storyline. Chris Claremont used that storyline to write Karma out of the New Mutants with her apparent death. Back in a minute. I do have to get more water. I'll be back in a minute. And USA's number one is fine now. I loved Karma. Like, I thought Karma was like a really great character. It's a shame that she got written out. It's a shame that she's never really gotten to be. She's never really gotten the human cyborg Ulysses Solomon Archer yet. Karma's never really gotten the focus that I feel like she deserves. Like something like she sort of comes and goes. You know, like Marjorie Liu made some pretty good use of her in her run on Astonishing X-Men. But you know, I mean, you know, whenever there's a New Mutants revival, decent odds that she'll show up there. But let us know. No, he's like that. Like there might be a version of him from that, but no, he's 616. Like they're oh what? Well, this is in the wiki is incorrect. This is a different version of the character. Because that was a detail that I completely forgot, Catherine. This is a complete wow. This is a different version of the character. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the regular yeah. I mean, like the character himself does come from. Oh, also actually, yeah, you're looking at yeah. There's a different version of him, but like yeah, the mainline version does it like the version you're looking at was only in a specific miniseries. The Marvel Adventures. Yeah, that was the Marvel Adventures version of the character, and apparently that version. I've never read that series. That Avengers and the Infinity Gauntlet. I've never actually read that series. But no, the like that's just an alternate version of him. The original version was 1983. 1983 was when the original version created by Al Milgrom and Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe. Two like great creators. Like that's the weird thing. Al Milgrom and Herb Trimpe are both really good at what they do, or were really good at what they did. You know, Al Milgrom was generally a really good writer, and yeah, I suppose he didn't really write all that much. Yeah, Al Milgrom was great. And then he came up with this weird ass character. Milgram was also the kind of guy who did throw shit up the wall to see what stuck. Hey, Phineas. Back to work on next week. I'm back to work next week, though I'm still looking for more full time work. What are some other funny Marvel comics? Trying to think of some other like really weird ass Marvel comics. There was their Godzilla series in the 80s. That one was actually pretty fun. That one was actually pretty good. Customer support. Customer service, or yeah, I mean that's yeah, basically customer service. Second copy of Ace for my Pro 2. Just gonna love this. Yeah, the Godzilla, their old Godzilla licensed comic was actually really fun. Um, J.J. Jameson yelled at Godzilla, which how can you not love that? It's technically canon. Day trading? I think not. Like the thing I love about it is that it is actually canon that J. Jonah Jameson yelled at Godzilla. Like this for a long time. Like, I mean, obviously, like they lost the license to publish Godzilla comics, so for a long time, those stories just they couldn't really make much mention to it. But that comic did take place in the 616, and there were elements of it that did. I can't remember. Red Ronin, I believe. Red Ronin wrote the Red Ronin robot debuted in that Godzilla series, and that one actually showed up pretty regularly. Oh, that's right. That series was also mostly about, and yeah, Davey and Godzilla, and yeah, that Godzilla series was mostly about Dum Dum Dugan leading a shield force that was trying to take out Godzilla. It was fucking wild. Yeah, I need a bigger bow. Yeah, that Godzilla series is actually it was really fun, but yeah, it was mostly Dum Dum Dugan getting angry at a giant lizard. And then Godzilla attacked New York, and all the heroes had to team up to try to stop it. And it was while it was attacking New York that Jonah stuck his head out the window and started yelling. Until Godzilla looked at him, and then he was like, "Oop, whoop." Jonah Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson Jr. I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did. Like he was sticking his like. Arr, 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 arr. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. It's small, so you might not be able to see, but it's yeah, it's blurry on the screen, but he does he is shaking his fist. Watch it, you overgrown lizard! You're messing with J. Jonah Jameson here! Action figures, I wonder if they make one. Of Jonah? Oh, Jonah absolutely has figures. Looking forward to that Titanic remake. Saw a trailer today for Wonder Woman. Yeah, it looks like it'll probably be fun. I won't be watching it. You attendee since you brought up Titanic? Jack not getting on the door had nothing to do with the size of it. It had to do with water displacement. Yes, the door was large enough to hold two people. But if he'd gotten on it, the extra weight would have meant that they both would have frozen to death. It wasn't about size, it was about balance. Jack could not have gotten on the door with what's her name? You know, it's been almost 30 years, and people still make jokes about that. And it's like, no, you didn't watch the fucking scene, jerkasses. You don't understand goddamn physics. I don't understand physics either, and even I understood what was going on there. He tried getting on the door. And he almost sank the damn thing in the process. Gets my anger up. Anyway, Catherine, to answer your much earlier question about worst Marvel comics, I do have to think the worst Marvel comic I've ever read was probably the Storm miniseries, written by Eric Jerome Dickey. That is not bad in a fun, and it's not a fun kind of bad. It is a why the fuck was this goddamn published? Who the fuck approved this piece of shit? Kind of bad. It was misogynistically bad. You really did want to laugh at some of those. Half truck of Wayne Brady saving his first black captain. First black captain of the Enterprise. It's like, yeah. Yep. Yeah, right before. Yeah, it came out right before the Storm Black Panther marriage, like as sort of a lead up, sort of prelude to the wedding of the century. So it was published as a retelling of how Storm and Black Panther met. A retelling that just ignored every single part of what had already been established about how they first met. Didn't watch the episode I requested. So with Richard Simmons is hilarious. Because their first meeting had been very briefly. Wedding the Century was 91 X-Men series issue. Okay, but the Panther Storm was a new century though. Black Panther and Storm. That wedding was in the 2000s, so it was a new century. Yeah. Chris Claremont had previously established very, very, very quickly how a meeting between Storm and Black Panther when they were young. Storm had left Cairo, was on her journey across Africa, came across young T'Challa fighting off a group of white thugs. She jumped in with threw some lightning bolts to help him out. And then they traveled together briefly before splitting apart. That was how they met. But I get the feeling Eric Jerome Dickey hated the idea of strong black man, Black Panther, needing to be helped by a woman? A girl helping out the Black King? No, can't have that. So instead, what he did instead is ignored the entire fucking existing story. So now it takes place in Cairo. Storm's still living with her sort of adopted family of kid thieves. So she's still there. So that's already one thing abandoned. She gets shot with a tranquilizer and knocked out, and T'Challa has to rescue her. So there's another change made, and again, I'm convinced that it's changed purely out of misogyny, because Eric Jerome Dickey just hates the idea of the Black Panther, of T'Challa, ever needing help from somebody, from anybody. Frank, I suspect Dickey hated the idea of T'Challa ever needing help from fucking anybody, but especially needing help from a girl. I think that it was just straight up misogyny that led him to make that change. Didn't Storm at some point reach damn near omnipotence? Yeah. Yeah, kinda. Aside from Storm, there's one named female character, or there's one other female character with a name and dialogue. One I think there might be a couple, very, very minor ones. But there's one other notable female character in the comic. Another street thief who hates Storm because, girls, right? Teen girls, they gotta, teen girls hate each other. Oh, there's good rivalry. Teen girls rivals with each other. Hey, Orchidea. I don't know, somebody started a rumor. Storm spends the bulk of the mini just talking about becoming a woman, and she and T'Challa have sex, and now she's a woman, and she talks a lot about how she's a woman now. Oh, he made me a woman. I'm a woman now. Look at me. I'm a woman. I'm so woman now. It just fucking revolves around him. And she's a woman, so she doesn't have to be reasonable. She's allowed to, change her mind around, and women don't need to be reasonable. Ha ha ha. Also, there's a dude who spends one of the antagonistic dudes, one of the antagonistic guys, one of the thugs who's hunting who's hunting Storm, spends fucking 2 straight issues. The only thing he talks about is how much he wants to rape a 13-year-old black girl. Just constant from him. Like any scene where he shows up, he's just talking about how much he wants to fuck this 13-year-old black girl. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Um, and he very nearly does rape her at one point. He very nearly does rape the girl at one point. And yeah, it's just, it's so fucking gross, the whole thing. Eric Jerome Dickey, who I think is was like a prose writer. I think it might have been like the first comic that he wrote, maybe. Yeah, crime novels. Apparently, he died in 2021. He was only 59 when he died. Kind of surprising. Died pretty young. Yeah, the wild thing is that series actually seemed to be pretty well received, which I baffles me because it was so fucking misogynistic. It was just hateful towards Storm. Not deliberately. I imagine Dickie thought he was, treating the character well with respect, and I thought he wasn't trying to be sexist or anything, but like Jesus Christ, it was just strong black man no need woman help. Woman role to serve man. It was just baffling. New Marvel Legends series. I'm guessing that's Wolverine. Whoa. Marvel Legends series. Whoa. Zabu. Zabu's cool. I like Zabu. What's not to love about a saber-toothed tiger? Just, just thinking. They should have a story where Mockingbird goes back to the Savage Land for a story arc. She debuted as a Kazar supporting character. Be cool to have her reunite with Kazar and Zabu. How they fitting this weekend? That series actually handled mocking Bobby Morris surprisingly well for the time, for the era. One scene that stands out to me is like she'd been captured by the villain. She'd been captured by a villain, and like she was still like she was in the process of trying to free herself when Kazar happened to show up. Like I just really like that touch. She wasn't a helpless damsel. Yeah, she was staying calm, collected. I did not go live yesterday, no, Shelly. Yeah, she stayed calm, collected, and like was in the process of figuring out some way to free herself and complete her mission. Not something you see a lot in those well, in the comics of that time. I also really loved how the Unstoppable Wasp series. Like more? Yeah, we'll see, Uncle Buck. We'll see. I loved how the Unstoppable Wasp series had Nadia be a fan of Bobby as a scientist. You know, like Mockingbird, like she's super spy and badass fighter, but she's also a scientist. And I love that. I love that Nadia was like, "Oh, I loved your paper on this." And Mockingbird just being like, "Oh wow, nobody ever remembers that. Nobody ever remembers that about me. I'm touched." As a it's just a really cute scene. And Nadia just an adorable little cinnamon bun of a character. Love her. She's one of, she was so good and pure. I hope she's still being used. Thanks, Buttercup. I will. All right. Good night, Catherine. And I'm going to get going. I'm going to get going too. So thanks for coming, everybody. Good night.